What do you think about that? Have a look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Why is it relevant today? I'm talking about raw consciousness. Why is that relevant? Some people are going to look at that and think, fucking hell, he's flogging the Bible, or he's gone religious, or he's gone socks and sandals, he's going to hug trees and convert me. When I look at that, what I see is raw consciousness. And the reason I brought this to the podcast today is to talk about a vision I had the other day. I come out of a sleep, and from the sleep I went into a deep meditation. I often meditate at 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning when I wake up. So I'm coming out of sleep into meditation. And in this sleep state, in this meditative state, I had a vision, and I just saw this image and layers just peeled back, peeled back, peeled back, peeled back, peeled back, boom. And at the very centre of it was that image there, Christ. A raw image of Christ, no ostentation, no fat, the crucifixion, everything fell away, and we were left with raw consciousness. And I could feel that image palpably in my chest. I could feel it sitting in my chest here. I could feel it, I could access it, and I could place it in my chest, and I could sit in it. I could feel Christ in me. But again, Christ has consciousness. Christ has raw consciousness. Christ has the backboard of reality. Christ has the raw material of everything in the world. Christ has pure form. It was amazing. I would talk to my class about it. I was doing my pure function course, and I was talking to the class about it. And it might seem like it's peripheral to, the 10,000 things, to the ways of the world. It's not peripheral. If I'm throwing a punch from A to B, if I'm a martial artist and I'm throwing a punch from A to B, I want that to be a raw technique. I want there to be nothing in that punch that's not necessary. I want the exchange of energy between the punch and the target, between object and subject, to be raw, to be direct, to be essential, to be seminal. So it's just like an explosion of raw consciousness, raw energy. If I'm having a conversation, I don't want ostentation, I don't want expectation, I don't want conditions, I don't want agenda. I just want a raw exchange of energy. And when I have a raw exchange of energy, that's what I feel. Raw consciousness, raw Christ, raw consciousness between me, between object and subject, between me and the person I'm working with. And I do that by being completely present, by being completely aligned, by coming from the right place. And in my sub-vocalization, I'm saying, I want to serve this person. Show me how to serve this person. How can I serve this person? Get rid of the bullshit. Get rid of the ostentation. Get rid of the decoration. Get rid of all the fucking, all the drama and all the kind of this kind of societal mores, the conditioning. I just want a pure exchange of energy, and I want that energy to be so pure, to be so direct, to be so raw that it stops the world. If you do this properly, this raw consciousness, this raw exchange of energy, you can be talking to somebody and the room will disappear. The world will disappear. You will disappear. He will disappear. There'll just be an exchange of energy. I've sat in cafes when I'm mentoring people and they've been empty. And I've looked up an hour later and the cafe's been full. We've disappeared the room. And the exchange of energy was just a raw, essential exchange of energy. When I was teaching martial arts and self-defense, people used to get very offended by what I teach. Not the people I was teaching, people on the periphery who didn't really know what they were looking at, people who didn't understand rawness and only understood system and curriculum. I wanted to go from a pure exchange from A to B. I wanted to talk to my class and say, if you're outside the chip shop on a Friday night, this is what will work. It's raw, it's ugly, but it's so ugly, it's beautiful, but it will work outside the chip shop. It's so effective that you won't want to do it. You will exchange energy with this person through a punch or through a blow, and it will be so potent that you will disappear this person, and you won't want to do it because you won't want to hurt somebody. But I used to used to really teach that directness with my technique. This is what works. This is why it works. This is my experience. This is my proof. We just need to do this. Everything else isn't necessary. Get rid of everything else that's not necessary. Raw consciousness, raw exchanges of energy. Even with sex, if I'm having sex with my wife, it's just a pure exchange of consciousness, a pure exchange of seminal energy. I'm not thinking about 20 different girls. I haven't got pornographic images coming into my mind. I'm not thinking about the girl next door or the secretary at work or just my own gratification. It is a pure exchange of energy coming from a place of love, and it's so raw and it's so stripped of ostentation that the flavors are massively enhanced. So it's that idea of less, of accessing less. So we get rid of the ostentation and we just have the raw essentials, the raw necessities. And when you have that, it's not difficult to get people very good at things very quickly. It's not difficult to get people good at martial arts very quickly if you go straight to that essential nature. It's not good to become good at writing or filmmaking if we go straight to that essential nature. So this image that came to me was really exciting because it was saying, let's have this raw consciousness in your body. Let's have rawness. Let's not have ostentation. Let's not talk about changing the world when we can't even change our body shape. Let's not talk about changing the world when we can't even groom ourselves. We can't even keep our body, you know, in fine order. This body's a tabernacle. This body's a vessel. It needs to be in fantastic order. It brings through a potent energy. If there's leaks, people will get damaged. We will get damaged. So people think that the body, the physical body, is like a separate instrument to consciousness, and that it doesn't need to be in good order. That you know, that palate and habits aren't really relevant to consciousness and spirituality. They're massively relevant. They're hugely relevant. You know, if we're going to be the container for the portable container for essence, and we're going to create from that place, and this energy is, this seminal energy, this soul energy is potent, then we need to make sure we haven't got leaks. We need to make sure that, you know, it's not spitting out everywhere, because if it does, people will get hurt. That's not an exaggeration. When I was leaking as a 28-year-old, when my essence was leaking and it was coming through a negative perception and an unrestrained imagination, I damaged people with that energy. I hurt people with energy. I hurt myself with it. I used to batter people with that energy. You know, it's very important that we have control of the physical instrument that it's going to come through, this raw consciousness. And if we can make our body, if we can prepare our body, you know, with the correct palate and with the correct perceptions and cognitions and beliefs, and by killing all the addictions and all the negative habits, by getting rid of the demons, the divided thoughts, so we make ourselves a pure vessel, we're going to be able to create magnificently in the world. And that then, you know, it's going to make us very valuable in the world. We're going to be able to take this energy that we're a caretaker from, and we're going to be able to refine it and expand it and give it back again. So this idea of raw consciousness, this idea of peeling back the layers and finding what is essential, is what my whole life is about. When I'm writing a script or doing a film, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the rawness, I'm looking for the honesty. So when you look at it, it just goes fucking boom. You know, it's so direct, it's jarring. So I'm excited by that, and I'm excited by the fact that everybody can find that raw consciousness. But let's start with the body. Let's get rid of the ostentation. Let's get rid of the weight that we don't need. Let's get rid of the stored energy that's not serving us. Let's get rid of the internal obesity. You know, let's get rid of the old beliefs, the old fears, the old doubts, the old grudges, you know, the anger, the rage. Let's refine that and bring it through and create something beautiful from it. You know, let's not be big fat minds going through the world, you know, angry at everything. Let's refine it so it's fine-tuned and beautiful. Then we can just create quicker and quicker and neater. The gestation period between cause and effect can get smaller and tighter, and we can start creating at a more refined level. So it's really just saying raw consciousness, coming back to the Christ again, Christ consciousness, raw Christ consciousness, that rawness, or Krishna consciousness, or Allah consciousness, or Buddha consciousness, whatever you want to call it. Look for the essential, look for the rawness, look for the seminal, let it rise up, come through a beautiful conduit, and then creating the world with it. That's the game, that's the aim. But don't think that the body's separate. I had a friend of mine said, I'm trying to tell my wife that we can create anything we want. We're the creators, we're the reality makers. And the words sounded lovely. And I said, do you know why your wife doesn't believe you? Because he said, my wife doesn't believe me, she won't listen to me. And I said, do you know why she won't believe you? Because you're 7 stone overweight. You can't even control your body weight. If you can control the world and you can create your own reality, why aren't you doing it with your body? Why are you still struggling with money if you can create your own reality? Why are you still struggling with your health if you can create your own reality? It's not a judgment, it's an observation. Be the proof. Be the proof. If I'm talking about creating reality, I need to see it in my body. I need to see it in my life. I need to see it in my interactions. I need to see it with the way I am in my deeds. It's no good being a fat life coach. It's no good saying, you know, we can change the world if we can't even change your socks once a day. I've got friends that think they're masters in martial arts and they're fucking on the internet half the time, bullying people and slagging people off and being trolls and giving it another name, but there's no mastery there. Where's the mastery there? But that excites me as well, because I'm just thinking how easy we distract ourselves with ostentation. The guys that have really got it are out there creating. Look at their websites. You'll see the work. You'll see them creating. You'll see them. You will see their deeds, or you'll hear about their deeds. And when you're in a room with them, you'll know. You'll feel it. That consciousness, that presence will be so startling that you'll want to be there. You'll either want to be there all the time, or you'll want to run away from it. Do something beautiful with it. Let's not waste it. Come back to rawness, come back to my relationship with my wife. I want a raw relationship. I want a relationship that is raw consciousness. So it's just a relationship based on honesty. It's a relationship based on serving each other. It's a relation based on no ostentation. So I'm not carrying demons, she's not carrying demons, we're not carrying grudges, we're just there existing with each other. That's exciting, isn't it, to have that kind of relationship? But I can't have that relationship with my wife if I haven't got that relationship with myself. First of all, I've got to know who I am. And I find out who I am by finding out who I'm not. I clear away, I strip away the layers of who I'm not, and it leaves who I am. I don't create who I am, I just reveal who I am. It's not a creation, it's just a revelation. I reveal it, it's there. That's what the revelations are about in the Old Testament. It's pulling back the layers of the world and recognizing that we are consciousness. You know, we are raw consciousness, and from that backboard we can create programs of cognition and perception and create in the world.